Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and if you notice, I'm still doing this setup. Soon enough, I just ordered some new bulbs for my soft boxes, so hopefully I could get back to my much better setup than literally my one lamp in my bedroom trying to light me and doing these reviews, especially because today is so overcast and gross that there's no natural light, and also my windows go into a stairwell, but it is what it is, so we're doing our best. And after a 2 week delay with any reviews, this is my one review I'm doing today on a 2018 film that I actually saw in theaters over the last 2 weeks. It's been a bit slow, not gonna lie. I've been trying to put myself through less crap and BS in terms of nonsense coming out, and in particular, I've only seen the first Insidious, so I didn't see the fourth one, and Winchester got terrible reviews, so I didn't see that either. But so I did see Den of Thieves, and this film is directed by Christian Gudegast, and also written by him. And I hear a lot of people saying this is just a ripoff of Heat, or reviews saying this is literally just Heat, beat for beat, and I would argue that it's like it has some homages maybe, and it's similar because it's about bank heists and stuff like that, but this isn't beat for beat the same exact movie. They go in different directions with this, and this isn't really anchored by a head-to-head kind of thing with the head of the police of the film and the head of the thieves of the film in this. It's different, so I'm getting that right off the bat. Would I rather watch Heat? Yep. But I like this for what it was, and in general, what Gudegast does as a director with this film, I got a bit confused at moments, and luckily by the end of the film, it did all make sense, but for the most part, the way that the story's told and fleshed out gets a bit confusing, and I'm just like, I'm a bit lost maybe, or this is trying to be really smart and maybe I need to watch this more than once. Because I'll admit, the first time that I watched the Oceans movies by Steven Soderbergh, I was a bit like, I don't know if I caught all those details and stuff, and you get, like, heist films, you might miss all the details, so maybe on a second viewing, whenever that would happen, probably not going to see this again. Unless somebody really wants to see this and I care about that person, but I'm probably not going to sit through 2 hours and 20 minutes of this again. But that's another thing, the pacing of this film. The first half of this is just, there's some intense scenes, there's some really well thought out and written scenes in the first half of this film, but God, does this just drag through the first half of the film. Once you get to the day of this heist, which is like literally the second half of this film, at least it felt that way, then it picks up, and then that's where the intensity and the tone really shifts to, like, this is an intense, thrilling film that I'm hooked until the end. But the beginning, it's like they have humor, and it's mostly because Jared Butler's like scummy cop character, but there's some really tense moments, and the opening sequence is really well done, well shot, and really tense. But for the most part, this lags a lot and just is dull for a good first half of this film when you're like fleshing out the planning and stuff like that. And in terms of emotional impact, by the end I feel for the main cop character played by Jared Butler. Do I really feel for the thieves? Not really. And by the end, it's more of like, oh, that's what happened kind of thing, more than, oh, I'm so glad they got away, or whatever the hell happens in this film. And it's just like, I don't know. Now, Terry Stacy, who's the director of photography or cinematographer for this film, this is really well shot. There's some really cool shots throughout. I love the opening sequence of this camera going over LA and slowly panning down and tilting up, and you're going right up to the back of a armored car. And then that opening sequence where they steal an armored car is really intense, really well shot. That's one thing I really appreciate this, is how this is shot. You really feel the action. And shootouts can be very hard because you need to set an idea where you understand spatially what's going on. And there's a film called Free Fire that came out last year which did that terribly. And it's just like, how is this warehouse set up? How big is this warehouse? Where the hell is everybody? And this film does that very well. You really get a sense of where the setting is spatially, how this is working out, because you need that to understand the tension. If there's bullets zipping by and you don't know where people are, you don't know where it's being shot, who gives a crap? It's like, oh, maybe it'll shoot somebody, and if it does, it'll be like, that didn't feel paid off or tense or anything. It just felt random. And this film does shoot very well. The writing of this film, the story, by the end, I think it's interesting. And the second half of this film really caught my eye. But one thing that my biggest complaint about this film is they tried to have you feel for the cops and feel for the robbers as well, but you don't really get to know any of the thieves in this film very well. And it's just kind of like, I'm not going to feel for you or care about you because I know nothing about you. And it's just like, okay, let's just keep going. But like, you do feel very much for Jared Butler's character, even though he's so scummy. He's so scummy and gross, but you just enjoy that character a lot. And I enjoyed that character, and they're like, how this all plays out I thought was very interesting. So the second half of the film I thought was much more well written than the first half. And the composer Cliff Martinez, this is very intense score. It's not super memorable where it's like, I'm going to listen to this again and again, but I think it really fits the film and really helps with the tension throughout the film. Now, acting wise, Jared Butler hams it up like a champ in this film, and I just enjoyed his performance so much, and he's leaps and bounds higher than everybody else. I feel like Pablo Schreiber and O'Shea Jackson Jr. both do nice jobs as some of the thieves. And then the rest of the cast is just like, you're just there, honestly. And like, them having 50 Cent in this film, I thought was just stunt casting for name recognition, honestly. He really doesn't bring anything to his role and really doesn't get a chance to emotionally hit anything. He's just there. And it's just like, why are you here? Why'd they cast you? So they could throw your name in the credits. And it's like, oh look, 50 Cent is in this film. Okay. I don't care. And the rest of the cast didn't take anything away from the film. It's just that how they were written and what was given to them had no like heavy lifting at all. Except for maybe physicality of like the shooting scenes. But it's like, do you really know if they're the ones under those masks anyway? Probably because they just need to look really bulking and big. And they were bulking, big, and intimidating in this film. Now, this lags for a huge chunk of the film, the first half, but honestly, my final thoughts are, once you get to that second hour of the film, this really does pick up and becomes a really tense heist film, and I did enjoy that, but marginally, I'm going to give this a positive review, and I'm going to give Den of Thieves a C+.